Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master. I'm doing another video tonight. In this video, I'm going to talk about something that really pisses me off, because that's what I talk about in my videos. And this is kind of something that people might not understand, that don't know me. I'm just going to put it this way. I am not right-wing, okay? And people get this impression when I'm arguing in the comments. Of course, they're usual NPC, neoliberal establishment corporatist types that fillet Biden, and they've never read a Chomsky book in their life, and they don't even, Howard Zinn, who's that? Oh, I just like CNN. You know, people like that, right? And Howard Zinn had his own faults. I'm not gonna, and so does Noam Chomsky. I'm not like giving him carte blanche. I'm just giving an example of something that if they knew my art when I argue online, if they listen to my argument, if they were familiar with these arguments from these people, they would understand that I'm not just some right winger. I don't know what people. It's the Overton window is not gotten to be this crazy thing, like, or no, it's gotten to be a crazy thing, but it's not like it's going like this wide. It's more like all just like a swirl of bullshit. That's what it's like, and that's what's going on with a lot of these people. So yeah, I just got in an argument on Facebook. This guy's like, why don't you go talk to your flat earther QAnon friends? I'm like, dude, for one, I always thought QAnon was hilariously dumb. Two, I used to post flat earth rap songs on Facebook because they're so funny. I'm not a flat earther, I'm not a QAnon. I don't like Trump, you know. I don't have this like weird obsession with Trump like a lot of the left and the right has. I think he's just another politician that's a piece of shit, you know. I don't see him as something special that we have to like destroy our democracy to fight, which essentially censorship is destroying democracy, regardless of the odious things that are passed along, and drawing more attention to it at the same time. So I remember the 90s, you know. I shouldn't remember the 90s. I wish I was a little younger, but you know, I'm just saying. So, I remember the 90s when there was like these neo-Nazi bands and shit, like, and then there was like, I remember fighting this Resistance Records catalog by my house. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It was all these Nazi bands. Of course, I'm not a fan of Nazi music because they would have me killed for my ancestry. Of course, I do not like it. However, that said, like, let's say there were like news segments about the Nazi bands played like every couple hours on headline news and CNN, this growing threat of Nazi rock. It would have exploded. It was these obscure bands that couldn't even get shows. Like, okay, that's a little bit of a ban of those types of bands, of course. They could play warehouses somewhere or some fucking neo-Nazi gathering or some shit, right? Nobody knew who the fuck they were, though. But imagine if the media was like they are about the current thing nowadays. You know, the current, I support the current thing. You know, imagine if they were about that. There would be a lot more people into that kind of stuff. Or even pretending not to be into it and liking it, or you're making some kind of sardonic, like, halfway thing between regular right wing and Nazi rock, you know, kind of stuff. I don't know, but it's like these people don't understand what it's you know, it's like, did they not even listen to Jon Stewart when he was talking about misinformation? He's like a hero on the left when he's talking about the government talking about what's misinformation, and they're acting like I'm some kind of fucking like who am I trying to think of, like I'm some kind of fucking Reaganite, like Trumpite Nazi guy or some shit. Like, I'm not associating those things together. It's just they're clumping this all in. I'm quoting Matt Taibbi or fucking John Ronson or, you know, Noam Chomsky or whoever. You know, it's like, are these people just like are those people right wing now to these people? I mean, it's not about the Overton window, like I said, because they're so corporate. These people are so corporatist at the same time. Well, at least a huge percentage of them. When people are more consistent and like, yeah, I support the Starbucks union, but also you're a Nazi because you like you bought a Burzum album, Matt. Okay, well, at least you're a little more consistent than most of these people. They're just like, you're a Nazi, but you're a Nazi, but because you bought a Burzum album. But I like Starbucks. I like buying my iPhone, and even though it's made by slaves, it's cool. Fuck you. Who are you to judge me? Who are you to judge me as a right winger? Someone who's out there fucking, out there protesting the Iraq War in 2003. I had a fucking bumper sticker that said "Regime change starts at home." I could have got my ass kicked at certain places, If I would have drove outside, if I went driving because I had an ex-girlfriend that lived up north in Wisconsin. I could have gotten my fucking tires slashed for that shit. Well, we're fighting for America against them terrorists, the Iraqis that bombed the towers, right? Because they thought it was all the same thing, right? So I could have, calling me a fucking right winger, motherfucker, just like that Alex Todd. I haven't mentioned him in a while because I just felt like I mentioned it, but yeah, he's just like, you're just like a... Now I will say, okay, a little addendum with this whole I'm not a right winger thing. I am on the left. However, there is a little bit of sympathy, and I am a little bit libertarian adjacent at times. I'll admit it. I mean, I like a couple of things that are, it's just kind of like something I like sometimes to explore that side. It's a side of myself. Now, that said, when I get into these arguments about misinformation, that's coming from left-wing people. Kyle Kulinski talks about that, is on the same side as me about that. He's not a right-winger. He's a fucking he was like a Bernie guy. These Green Party people are against this whole concept. It's not a fucking right versus left thing. This is the thing that bothers me about people. People are so reductive nowadays with politics. They think of it as right wing versus left wing. Look, those crazy Trump Nazis that think there's a flat Earth and are into QAnon. Well, I'm gonna worship Anthony Fauci, even if he contradicts himself 50 times and lies. Because I'm smarter than them. Yeah, you're really fucking smarter than them. You're showing it right now. Just because you might use, you might use better language. You might use better English. I mean, you might have more teeth, right? You might drink better coffee, right? Okay, I'll give you that. You might have read a couple more books than these guys. But what the fuck makes you better than those motherfuckers at this point in time? If you're actually a neoliberal douchebag Biden-flater, It's one thing being like, yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I don't think the government should get involved with that, though, but we need to, spread things around in some way, blah, 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 and, Biden's a failure, Bernie should have been president, blah, 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 kind of a more progressive position in a real way. But it's when they're attacking me, because I think scientists should write everything, all the articles. Where are you going to have a fucking a scientist guard rule everything? A scientist guard? Are you going to have everything ruled by scientists, like a technocracy? I mean, that's what we're going towards anyways. But I want to say these people, it's just man, people online are so fucking dull and dumb. I mean, it's if I get banned from Facebook for calling the guy a dickbag or whatever, I mean, it's just so stupid. And that's what bothered me. See, that's what bothered me, the groupthink, okay? So people want to know why I was so triggered by the whole COVID thing. The groupthink involved and just people going along with all this shit, regardless of whether or not it was right. Let's say, I'll even give it, so let's just say, hypothetically, as a thought experiment, let's say there were all the people that were doing the lockdowns and all that shit. I'll just say, okay, let's just say, devil's advocate, they were completely right, it was a deadly disease. Even then, even if I agreed with all that shit, I would still be bothered by the groupthink. And Matt Taibbi is one of the people that was. He was talking about these articles, he was writing this shit in articles about the, and then the next month they go, no, you can protest, and theoretically, I'm actually for some of what Black Lives Matter is for. I've said it in previous videos. I'm not actually anti-Black Lives Matter as much as right-wing or other right adjacent. you know, I'm gonna be fart adjacent in a minute, but you know, no, I'm just kidding. But I had this ex-girlfriend that always called things adjacent, like it's metal adjacent. It's I guess that's like a millennial thing to say, like you're Nazi adjacent, because she thought I was Nazi adjacent for having a Thor's hammer in a fucking picture, and it's like the whole thing. That's fucking really retarded. But I'm not supposed to say that either. But you know, I'm not, you know, I'm kind of getting up there, so I could say this old vernacular that I said. I apologize about saying that. But anyways, the whole fucking funny thing about like the whole thing with like the German Iron Cross is that if these people like that called it Nazi, that people have, you know, the Iron Cross, do they have amnesia about like West Coast choppers? I bought this shirt that had like dragons and the Iron Cross. Guess where I got it? Not from Resistance Records. I got it from JC fucking Penney. They were selling this shit everywhere. In like 2007, 2008, you were wearing these fucking, not this shirt, this is Celtic Frost, but you know, these Iron Cross shirts were everywhere. People were wearing Iron Crosses all the time. I mean, they weren't wearing the actual metal, but you know, they had the shit all over stuff. And it's like, I still have that shirt somewhere. If I wore it, would I be called a Nazi because I have an Iron Cross, which is unrelated to the actual regime, even though they used it? You know, I'm sick of people's stupidity. I think Anton LaVey put it best that stupidity is one of the original sins. That's about all.